We released our fifth annual State of Marketing AI report from Marketing AI Institute and SmarterX. And in this year's report, we had almost 1,900 marketing and business leaders answer 23 different questions about AI usage and adoption. And we actually found a ton of really useful insights as a result about where the marketing industry is actually at when it comes to AI. So Paul, in this segment, I was going to share just a few of the key findings from the report, kind of get your thoughts where you have them on certain stats here. I would highly encourage everyone go download the full report at stateofmarketingai.com. There's a ton more in here than what we'll go through here. So I'm just going to dive in.
And I think the webinar's on demand too. Like they could probably,
Yeah. So if
I
you go to
believe you can access.
marketingaiinstitute.com under resources and click webinars, you'll be able to quickly see where we have the webinar on demand. Diving further into this, definitely also
Yeah, we'll
worth
drop the direct link for that in the show notes too.
Absolutely. So we did find, to kick things off, that marketers are racing ahead with AI. We ask about various aspects of the marketing team's AI usage every year. And this year, actually, 60% together either said they were piloting or scaling AI. You could choose from three phases: understanding, piloting, or scaling. And 60% are now either prioritizing and running AI pilot projects or say they are pursuing wide-scale adoption of AI. And what's really cool is because we've started to benchmark this over several years, we can see that that's actually an 18 percentage point jump since 2023, where only 42% were in either phase, which is super interesting to see that kind of growth and adoption. When we ask about what are you trying to achieve with AI, marketers say they're more likely than ever to say that they're trying to actually save time. So this year, 82% said they're reducing the time they spend on repetitive data-driven tasks was the primary outcome they're trying to achieve with AI. Not only was this the top answer, it was the highest percentage of responses for this question that we've recorded so far. There was some cool data on tools. Respondents overwhelmingly said ChatGPT was their favorite tool when asked. That was like 57% of people. We also asked if their organization provides licenses to either ChatGPT Team or Enterprise, Microsoft Copilot, or Google Gemini, or none of the above. ChatGPT was also a leader here, with 61% saying that their company was most likely to provide them with a ChatGPT license. Now, what's interesting is that actually steadily declines in popularity as firms get bigger. So it's much higher on the low end, $1 to $10 million, for instance, in revenue. Had 70% of people saying this. It falls to 37% when you look at firms with $1 billion plus, and that gap is often filled by Microsoft Copilot. Now, a big finding, we cite this every single year, a lack of training is a huge barrier to AI adoption. So once again, marketers cited a lack of education and training as their top barrier when we ask about this. That's been the case every single year. We've published the report. This year, 62% said it was a top barrier. Not to mention, we also asked, do you have AI training at your company? 68% of respondents say no, and that consists of 44% saying they don't have it, 21% saying it's in development, and 3% unsure if it exists. I mean, Paul, we talk about that stat all the time because it's really not changing fast enough.
Yeah, and just a reminder, we've touched on this before, but like this is almost 1,900 people from our audience. So this is like Marketing AI Institute subscribers. It is people who listen to the podcast. This is like likely the leading edge in terms of adoption.
Yeah.
So when you're hearing this data, it's not necessarily representative of the entire market because people who aren't doing this stuff likely aren't listening to the podcast or subscribing to Marketing Institute, coming to our events, following SmarterX. So this is like, in my assumption, this is probably the best of the best. This is like more indicative of what innovators are doing than the laggards in the market.
Yeah,
so
that's so
I actually
cool.
think the data is like skewed and has bias because it's a forward-thinking audience already.
Yeah, and if you check out the full report, we go in depth into the methodology, the respondents, so you can see exactly kind of who is answering these questions. Couple more data points I want to call out here. So Unfortunately, marketers seem more pessimistic than ever about AI's impact on marketing jobs. So this year, 53% said they believe more marketing jobs will be eliminated by AI than will be created. We started asking this question in 2023, and it's the highest number on record. It's risen by 13 percentage points in just 2 years. Now, it should be noted, marketers are a bit more nuanced when we also asked this year, what do you think the impact will be on your job specifically? The highest proportion, about 33%, say they're neutral in their concern about AI's impact on their job. They see both risks and opportunities. That was the highest percentage answer. Now, last but not least, we actually found through a series of data points that when you look at the data at the end of the day, it's clear that things like AI roadmaps, AI infrastructure is the unlock, because we ask about, do you have an AI roadmap or strategy for the next 1 to 2 years that kind of outlines your use cases and direction for AI? 75% lack one. But when we look at who does have one, the people who do have an AI roadmap are also twice as likely across several data points to have training available, to provide prompt training, to have an AI council, and to have generative AI and AI ethics policies. So, Paul, I was just wondering to kind of get your thoughts on that. It really does seem like the way forward is just more formal AI infrastructure within your organization.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many interesting data points in here, and the fact that we now have years of benchmark data is always so fascinating to me to go back through this. I'll just kind of highlight, and a couple of these you hit on, Mike, but when we, every month I do this free scaling AI class where I teach these 5 steps for scaling AI, and it's actually the basis for the entire scaling AI course series. You can go to scalingai.com and see more about that. But we teach these 5 steps. And so one of the ways I actually assess AI transformation within an organization is to look at how far along they are with each of these steps. So the first is education and training. Do you have an internal AI academy? 32%. Yes. So that's only a third have it. Do you have an AI council? Only a third, 33%. Do you have generative AI policies? 38%. AI ethics policies? 41%. We don't ask directly, have you done AI impact assessments? But to show the need for those, 53% now believe that more jobs will be eliminated because of AI in the next few years. Interestingly, when we asked the question, which I think was a newer question this year, how do you personally feel
Yeah.
about AI and the impact it's having? 70% said positive. So despite all this, like, people are actually optimistic. And then the last one, Mike, that you had really zoomed in on is this idea of an AI roadmap. Only a quarter of them, 25%. So to me, this screams opportunity, because again, these are probably more likely to be forward-thinking, AI-forward professionals and leaders.
Yeah.
And this is still where we're at. Like, a third are doing the things that they actually need to be doing. So for you, regardless of your job, regardless of what company you're in, what industry, where you're at in your career, the opportunity is so massive to, like, move, like, stop being overwhelmed by it and having all this anxiety about it. Just go do something, because this data just keeps showing we're not seeing leaps in any of this stuff. We're
Yeah.
seeing, 5 percentage point, 8 percentage point, which, maybe 10%, 20% improvement each year. We are not seeing the switch flip to where it's like, oh, okay, now 80% of people have generative AI policies and 90% of roadmap. And I don't think we're anywhere close. Like, we've been doing this for what, 5 years? Did you say 6 years
Yeah.
now?
5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, it's incremental every year. So to me, it just screams opportunity. And I would race ahead to integrate these 5 components that I just highlighted.
Yeah, clearly doing something is better than what the vast majority of people appear to
Yeah.
have been doing, which is nothing at the company level.
Yeah. Wild.